motherfucker. We got woke patriot Carl Cole. Trying to bip the glass. That's pretty cool. Underground. Welcome to the realest motherfucking news channel on Twitch. If you're looking for real news, well, guess what? You just fucking found it. It's at the bottom. CJ Baller, that was Nightbreed from 1992. Some underground techno for everybody. Hope you're having a good day, weekday, hump day. That's right, we are going to be, you're looking especially scruffy. I took a shower, so my beard's extra fluffy. The beard's got to go soon, and the beard's getting a little out of hand. Had some guy walk up to me, give me 50 cents yesterday. No, I'm just kidding, but it could have happened. You believed me for a second. Every time I see a Cybertruck, I'm really, yeah. Okay, so today's focus is the embarrassing UK elections and the Cybertruck. I've been wanting to talk about the Cybertruck for a long time. It's kind of a fun topic because it's just Elon Musk style idiots. Honestly, you kind of have to be dumb. I don't know what else to say. You kind of have to be dumb if you're buying the Cybertruck. But we're going to get into that. That's the cherry on top. First topic of debate is the UK elections. And folks, it was a fucking stinker. It was a fucking stinker. So last night I went through the whole thing. I went through the whole debate. So we're not going to watch the whole debate. I'm not going to force you through that whole ordeal. It was about hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. Less than 2 hours. It was less than 2 hours. And the main takeaway is that Keir Starmer let Rishi Sunak make the claim that he was going to raise everyone's taxes by 2,000 pounds, literally everyone. He was, generalizing to the max. And he let that hang in the air for well over like an hour for the first half of the debate. Meanwhile, the ITV moderator, who compared to U.S. moderators is fucking debate team captain, but compared to other UK debates was a total failure, total embarrassment, and quite frankly, from my observations, was interrupting Keir Starmer more, was allowing Rishi Sunak to talk more, was allowing Rishi Sunak to interrupt more. And Keir Starmer was, he allowed himself to be walked all over for that first half. The second half, I don't know if an assistant came up to him and said, man, you're letting that shit hang in the air like a stinky fart, dude. You got to say something about this $2,000 tax increase. You got to say something. So he finally works up the courage to step out of line and call the whole thing garbage. I got to say, okay, so that's my first take. The second take is that the groaning and noises coming from Keir, the exacerbated, not helping. Not helping. Makes you sound like a disappointed mother. Doesn't make you sound like a leader. Who won the debate? Let's watch the highlights. Let me refresh myself, and then I'll let you know my opinion on who won the debate. Because I'm like, I don't know, man. I know the UK lost. I know the UK lost, and we're gonna get reactions from actual people who live in the UK, not jackasses like me. But we're gonna get actual opinions from people. And what I was surprised was, like, they were basically on the same page as I was. I was like screaming into my phone. My wife was like, what do you, because she thought I was talking to them. I was like, respond. You got to say something to that. I literally said that. I was like, it's dead silent, 12 o'clock at night last night. And I'm like, I go, you got to say something. And my wife was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh no, honey, it's this fucking debate I'm watching. I'm sorry. But it was like, I just could, hammering, Sunak hammering away at this 2,000-pound talking point, 2,000-pound talking point, and Keir not responding. I was being gaslit into thinking, what, does Keir not have a response to this? Surely this is a lie. Surely Keir is not running on raising every fucking person's taxes on 2,000 pounds. Surely. And of course it's a lie right now. Of course the entire Labor Party is doing damage control on every news channel that will interview them. It's a lie. We're raising taxes on the rich, and we're not going to raise the taxes on the poor, and yada yada. But that's how effective that was. And look, it's not effective for us, right? Because we're savvy, we're watching the news underground, right? We're paying attention, we're plugged in. This is about normies, okay? This is about normies that, look, normies just read the headline in the first paragraph of the article, and then they move on, okay? Normies watch the first half hour, 45 minutes of the debate, and then they go, do something else, play a video game, jerk off, go switch to sports, watch a movie. Some distraction comes along. They're on their phone. They're still watching it, but they're officially on their phone, and their focus has completely shifted, and they're not even listening. After that, you're lucky to get that 30-minute, 45-minute. So that's why Sunak that's why he implemented he knows what he's doing. It's not magic that he kept saying the 2,000-pound talking point over and over and over again. He knows that this is the dynamic. He's playing this game, and apparently Keir Starmer wasn't expecting it. What do you expect, man? This is you're reformatting your party, Keir Starmer, because it's a whole new world of politics, right? According to you, right? We can't have these libby lefty progressives anymore. Right? So you show up to the debate not expecting dirty tricks and not expecting biased media. Sovereign Dari. Yeah, okay. You're on my shit list, so I'm going to ignore you for the next couple comments there, buddy. All right, so we're going to get back to it. So let's get to this debate here. This is the highlights from the debate. So 11, 12 minutes here, and then we will proceed. Yeah, I didn't really appreciate your previous comments in the previous stream there, bud.
Sunak made is the economy is growing again. The plan is working, is his view.
Well, he says the plan is working. He says the plan is working. So the question for him is, why has he called the election now? Because if he thinks things are going to get better towards the second half of this year, why has he called it now? He's called it now because he knows, and I'll ask him this, he knows inflation is going to go back up. He knows energy prices are going to go back up in the autumn. That's what he's not telling you. So he says the plan is working, but I don't think he believes the plan is working, because if he thought the plan is working, he wouldn't have called this election right now.
Rishi Sunak.
I think
that's a good point.
It's slightly ironic, because from the moment I got this job, Keir Starmer was telling me, call an election, call an election. And now that we've called an election, he's saying, oh, no, don't have an election, because I don't want to tell you what I'm going to do. And this is the choice. This is the choice for everybody. The plan is working. Of course I know. Everyone is only...
So you saw what happened there? And I don't know how intentional that is, but this kept happening to Keir Starmer, where he needed to respond to the lies or the misinformation that Sunak is putting out there, but the host is talking over him, muddying it, Like the one time that he definitively said, not the one time, there was multiple times, but the first time that he definitively said that the 2,000-pound talking point was rubbish or garbage or whatever, she was talking over him. You'll see this throughout these highlights. She keeps, you know, interrupting Keir and kind of giving the platform over to Sunak. It's subtle though. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but that's what and maybe it just might have been his bad luck. But you keep. I saw this throughout the whole debate, man. She kept tripping him up. She kept interrupting him, cutting him off, like right at the peak, right at the apex of what he was talking about. Okay. And I really only saw her do that to Sunak like once.
And he's saying, oh, no, don't have an election because I don't want to tell you what I'm going to do. And this is the choice. This is the choice for everybody. The plan is working. Of course, I know everyone is only just starting to feel the benefits of it, but inflation is back to normal. Wages are growing. Taxes are now being cut. Keir Starmer would put all that progress at risk. He would put up everyone's taxes by £2,000. £2,000 in higher taxes for every working family in our country after all the hard work and sacrifice we've been.
45 minutes of that. It was 45 minutes of Sunak fucking pounding him, dude. Pounding him. Like a you know what. You know what I'm visualizing. 45 minutes of that. And it was just... may I respond? May I please respond? Please, can I please say something? No, please let me say something. And she was like, oh, we're going to talk about taxes later. We're going to talk about taxes later. And then they finally get talking about taxes. And it's still, you know, it's still Sunak town. It's still a Sunak's debate here. I hope Keir learned some lessons this go around. I really do, because he was caught flat-footed. Over here, you got to stop expecting your conservative opponent to be honorable or respectful, or this is a new era of politics, Keir. You seem to be well aware of it, converting your party into a more conservative one, attempting to get these idiots who vote for conservatives onto your side instead of you know, engaging with progressives and leftists who, you know, who feel disenfranchised and, you know, are cynically sitting everything out. So instead of trying to attract those people anymore, let's do the Hillary Clinton thing, right? And go after the conservative moderates. It worked so well.
Taxes for every working family in our country after all the hard work and sacrifice we've been through. That's not the right course of action. I don't know why you want to put up people's taxes.
Keir Starmer.
Paul, I just don't know how you feel when you hear a Prime Minister say, having heard what you're going through, that the plan is working.
Where the fuck is the response? The first thing you should say is that he is lying about the 2,000 pounds. Now let me respond. What the fuck are you doing, Keir? He just put a fucking notice on your forehead, dude. He stamped it with a nail. Are you going to respond to that? 45 minutes of this, dude. It was unbearable.
Action. I don't know why you want to put up people's taxes.
Keir Starmer.
Paul, I just don't know how you feel when you hear a Prime Minister say, having heard what you're going through, that the plan is working, it's all right. I meet so many people who are struggling with their bills, and the Prime Minister just keeps saying he lives in a different world, that
Keir Starmer, if people are struggling with their bills, why do you want to make it harder for them by saddling them with £2,000 worth of higher taxes? How is that going to make Paula or anyone's life easier?
Could you respond directly to Rishi Sunak?
This is the Prime Minister who's been part of a government that has put up tax 26 times. The last manifesto that they had in 2019 said we won't put up national insurance.
See what I'm saying? If you're a normie not paying attention to politics except for these few tipping point moments, for the first 45 minutes, you are assuming that Keir Starmer is not responding to Rishi Sunak's claim of 2,000 pounds because, yes, he is going to do that. Damage control time, man. No wonder they're all over media today.
The last manifesto that they had in 2019 said we won't put up national insurance. This man then put up national insurance. He's the British expert on tax rises. They're at the highest level for 70 years.
The NHS is broken. Be honest with us. How long will it take to fix it?
As Janet knows and everyone knows, the NHS is still recovering from COVID. We went through the best part of 2 years where the NHS couldn't conduct all the treatments it normally would, and it is going to take time to recover from that. But we are now making progress. The waiting lists are coming down. But what Keir Starmer didn't mention to you, which you did, Julie,
Wait, 7.2 million, they're now 7.5 million. He says they're coming down, and this is the guy who says he's good at maths.
Yeah, they are now coming down. They are now coming down.
7.2 when you said you get them down. 7.2 million, they're now 7.5 million. I'd like you to explain how they're coming down.
Because they were coming down from where they were when they were higher.
7.2.
And they're now on their way down. They are down, right?
Wow.
Yes, because the NHS was impacted by industrial action.
And it's like that classic Bill Hicks sketch about about the police, the Rodney King case, right? Well, if you play the video in reverse, it looks like they're giving a massage and helping him back up and on his way. He just got caught in a bold-faced lie, and he's like, well, if you look at, if you turn the chart upside down, it's going way up.
And if it wasn't for that, 500,000 appointments become higher, and they're now on their way down. They are down, right? Yes, because the NHS was impacted by industrial action. And if it wasn't for that, appointments would have been saved.
Somebody else's fault.
I'm really grateful for everyone in the NHS for working so hard, and we have now settled pay rises with everyone in the NHS except for the junior doctors. And of course I want to do that to make sure it's fair and affordable, though. But despite being offered the most generous pay settlement anywhere in the NHS, and indeed the public sector, the union are demanding a 35% pay rise, and I don't want to raise your taxes to pay for that, because I don't think it's right. But I will say this. So, when Keir Starmer says he'll resolve it, he hasn't explained to you how, but I will say this.
You could answer that, Keir Starmer.
Well, we wouldn't pay the 35%. We've already said that to the doctors. We can't afford it because the government's already broken the economy.
Remember him being asked, how come you're not raising the taxes 5% on the 1%, on the 1% wealthy? Oh, we can't afford it. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. So here he is. Oh, we're not going to, preemptively setting those expectations over here. Setting those expectations. Oh, yeah, we're not going to give you those pay rises. Yeah, we know there's a crisis, but no, we're not going to agree to that. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. Rishi Sunak, characters like Rishi Sunak and the people that he protects can afford it. So why are you protecting them, Keir?
How? But I will say this.
You could answer that, Keir Starmer.
Well, we wouldn't pay the 35%. We've already said that to the doctors. We can't afford it because the government's already broken the economy.
What happened to taxing the 5%? Why did you drop that, Keir?
So we're not going to pay that. But what you can't do is what the Prime Minister has done, which is to say...
Well, you just said you'd resolve it, so what would you do?
At the end of the day...
So you're not going to give them the 35% pay rise that they're asking?
What are you going to do, Keir? Because you're over here handing tax cuts to the rich, just like Rishi Sunak is, taking that out of your pledge. Going to tax the 5% highest wage earners, right? The billionaires, basically, the ones that can easily afford, honestly, a small little bump compared to where it was decades ago, where it should be, quite frankly, right? 80, 90%, right? They're sweating over like 12, 15, 20%, But Keir, why are you taking that off your, and Rishi Sunak's got a great point. You're protecting the rich just like me now, Keir. How are you going to fix it? How are you going to pay for it?
Going to pay that. But what you can't do is what the Prime Minister has done, which is to
say... Well, you just said you'd resolve it, so what would you do?
At the end of the day...
So you're not going to give them the 35% pay rise that they're asking for, so how would you resolve it? Just standing there and saying, I'll resolve it, isn't an answer. That's not a plan.
Prime Minister...
How would you resolve it?
Prime Minister, your record...
No, how would you resolve it? You want to be Prime Minister. How would you resolve the strike? How would you resolve them?
I wish you had as much to say when Liz Truss was crushing the economy.
Could you answer Rishi Sunak's point, please, Keir Starmer?
Well, I will when I can get a word in edgeways. His record is of saying, I'm not going to get in the room to negotiate. And what have we got?
No, we've been in the room to negotiate.
What have we got? Ongoing strikes.
Answer.
We have to end these strikes.
How?
The grown-up way to do that is to get in the room and to negotiate with the doctors and come to a settlement.
If you had loved ones...
So that's going to make the negotiations really easy for you, Keir, huh? Preemptively saying we're not going to give you what you want, right? Right off the bat. That's supposed to get the unions on your side during the election, huh? Classic neoliberal setting expectations, man. And it's always setting expectations in benefit of the rich, in benefit of those that are already wealthy, those are already in power, increasing power. It's never setting expectations for the rich and the wealthy. You're like, rich people need to expect this and rich people need to expect that. No, we take that out of our man. We take that out of the. Oh no, we're actually, yeah, we looked at it and we can't afford to tax rich people more. That's so far, that's his line. I showed just from a couple days ago an interview with Cure. How can we afford it? How can we afford, you can't afford it, can't afford it. Well, what happened to your pledge to raise taxes on the rich? Well, we can't afford to do that. Cockamamie bullshit. Neoliberal drivel.
And to negotiate with the doctors and come to a settlement.
If you had loved ones on a long waiting list for surgery, would you, if you felt that that was the only way forward, use private healthcare? Rishi Sunak?
Yes.
Keir Starmer?
No.
Absolutely no if your loved one was on a waiting list for surgery?
No.
Thank you very much.
I don't use private health. Okay. I use the NHS. That's where my wife works, in one of the big hospitals. As I say, it runs through my DNA.
I'm sorry to interrupt this here, but I gotta say, look, I love socialized medicine. I agree with socialized medicine. I think it should be the primary healthcare system of every country, right? Subsidized, socialized. But there is a benefit to having allowing for private clinics and private doctors. If you want to, there's this company called One Medical that was recently gobbled up, I think, by Amazon, but it was really great, right? So you'd have your health insurance, or you have your in the case of Canada, right? If this was there, but they have the same thing where they don't allow private healthcare to exist, and it's like, well, I don't want to go through, I don't want to wait. I got like a tummy ache, or I got a fucking wart, somewhere that I want, boiled, lanced, or fill in the blank. Some small stuff. I broke my arm or whatever, and whatever. You want to expedite things. You want, it's nice. It's like, okay, well, yeah, I got an extra, a couple $100. Fine, I'll expedite things, right? Because I want this looked at right now. I don't want to wait 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. And I honestly feel like, if you priced it correctly, and if you did not allow that private entity to seriously compete with the social healthcare, I think there's a way to have that. And honestly, people hear that and they're they want both. I think people want both. They want the free healthcare, but they also want the ability to expedite if it's an emergency, or if they feel like that's what they want. They want options. But I do understand that it is, you can't have this corporate entity undercutting the social, because that's taxpayer funded, right? We can't have that. We've seen the kind of damage that kind of system can do. Because that private entity then starts lobbying the government, which then attempts to make the social option worse. Look at the post office in the United States. You got all these, right-wing leaning logistics companies that are lobbying to destroy the postal service. So yada yada yada. So you get my point. But I don't know. I feel like this is weak. This is more kind of. It's just weak.
You know, if your loved one was on a waiting list for surgery?
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And you see what I mean with this ITV moderator? Goddamn, I gotta say, it's bias, man. You're not going to let him give any context. You're just going to move on. No, and move on. What kind of horseshit is that? That's completely dishonest moderating. You need to give him an opportunity. She expected no context and to move on to the next segment. Come on, bitch.
Private health.
Okay.
I use the...
Absolutely no if your loved one was on a waiting list for surgery?
No.
Thank you very much.
I don't use private health. Okay. I use the NHS. That's where my wife works, in one of the big hospitals.
And this isn't good enough.
Through my DNA.
The triple lock plus. So that we raise the personal allowance for pensioners and ensure that the state pension is never subject to tax. That's what you'll get under a future Conservative government. Keir Starmer hasn't matched that pledge, which means for the first time in our country's history, if Labour are elected, pensioners will pay tax. I do not think that is right, and you should explain to everyone why you think pensioners will be paying a retirement tax under your government.
Briefly, please,
What the Prime Minister's done so far in the 2 weeks of this campaign is to make desperate gimmicks and put them on the table. He's told us he's going to get rid. It's their policy to get rid of national insurance altogether. That's £46 billion. He said it's their policy to get rid of inheritance tax.
You see how Keir refusing to respond to Sunak's allegations make it seem like he's dancing around the fact that so he didn't say that he's not going to do that. That's how normies interpret that. That's how normies interpret that shit. Sunak put that shit on the table. The first time in history, you're going to be taxing pensioners. You know, I don't know what the system is, but, you know, sounds scandalous. Starmer starts talking about 2 weeks ago, talking about Sunak, you know, oh, this is the strategy. Deny the allegations, Keir. Please, deny the allegations, please.
Gimmicks and put them on the table. He's told us he's going to get rid. It's campaign.
Leon, no. There's lie. He's lying throughout the whole thing. But Keir Starmer is not fucking. He's leaving that shit on the table. And why? What for? Fucking what? You're being courteous. You're being what? You don't want to look like you're fighting back.
A retirement tax under your government.
Briefly, please.
What the Prime Minister's done so far in the 2 weeks of this campaign is to make desperate gimmicks and put them on the table. He's told us he's going to get rid. It's their policy to get rid of national insurance altogether. That's £46 billion. He said it's their policy to get rid of inheritance tax. That's £10 billion. He says he's going to get rid of tax on pensioners.
You're just talking nonsense. But just answer the specific question. We have committed. I can tell you.
And Sunak is doubling down on this, and you're going to hear a Tory interviewed by LBC who doubles down on this. That Keir was Rishi Sunak said over 10 times that that Keir Starmer was going to raise taxes £2,000, and Keir didn't respond. They know that that's how they can get these lies treated as truths, and Keir Starmer's playing right into it, dog.
But just answer the specific question. We have committed. I can tell you.
Thank you, not over each other. Thank you, not over each other.
No, but we've committed to the triple lock plus. Under us, the state pension will never pay tax. Under you, there's a retirement tax coming for British pensioners. I think it's appalling. Explain to people, why do you think pensioners should pay tax on the state pension?
Okay.
The big problem with Liz Truss is that she made unfunded tax cuts.
All right.
The Prime Minister is doing the same thing. We're going to go round the circle again.
You asked about it. It's very clear. Pensioners under Keir Starmer will pay tax on the state pension for the first time in our country's history.
All right, I'm going to just
It is a retirement tax. Keir Starmer can talk about the past all he wants, but in the future, pensioners have got a tax rise coming under your government.
All right, gentlemen,
Why
please.
do you want to do that to pensioners? Why do you want to put up their taxes?
The most liberal Prime Minister we've ever had on immigration. We've never had numbers like this before. And he says that you can believe him on the boats. Nobody should be making that crossing across the Channel. 18 months ago, the Prime Minister made a promise. He said, just like the NHS promise, he was personally accountable for it, that he would stop the boats. This year alone, 10,000 people have crossed on boats.
So like this, by this moment, I'm like, okay, so I guess, like I was, because I'm not living there. I wasn't quite sure if the accusations that Sunak was making was true or not about the taxes, and here he is just going on and on, man. Okay, you got the mic, you got their attention. For the love of God, say something about the taxes. I thought he was working on me. He was starting to gaslight me. I'm like, fuck, man, he's dancing around this whole raising taxes bit from two different angles, and he dances around it. He's responding like I've complained about Keir on this one before. Ask him a question, just like Justin Trudeau, by the way, the neoliberal in Canada. But you ask him a question right to his face, and that motherfucker answers the question asked from the goddamn ether. He looks at you straight in the eye and answers a question that you did not ask. And he's just straight up doing that during the whole, the first half of the debate, man, the first 45 minutes of it. I want to see the behind the scenes, because I bet you an aide walked up to him and tapped him on the shoulder and was like, bro, you got to say something about the taxes, dude. That's a lie. You got to say something. You're letting that shit linger, bro. I guarantee you, dude. Either that or he came to it himself, when during the break. But after the break, there was a clear change in strategy.
That's a record number. So again, he's made a promise and he's completely failed to keep it.
Thank you. Rishi Sunak, respond directly to Keir Starmer.
Yeah. Over the last 12 months, the number of crossings are down a third. because the plans we put in place are starting to make a difference. But the choice of this election is about the future. I believe you need to have a deterrent. The only way to stop this problem is to say to people who come here illegally, they cannot stay and they will be removed. If I'm your Prime Minister, the planes will go to Rwanda, we will have a deterrent. So the simple question for Keir Starmer is, what will you do with people who come here illegally?
Response to the Rwanda bullshit.
What will you do with them? Well, very simply, what will you do with them? That's what I'm going to do. We'll have a deterrent. What are you going to do?
We need to smash the gangs that are running this vile trade, making a huge amount of money, putting some of the most vulnerable people in boats across the channel. They're making a fortune. Before I was a politician, Stephen, I was the Director of Public Prosecutions, and I worked with the police and prosecutors in other countries to bring down terrorist gangs who are running across borders. I do not believe it's impossible to bring down these gangs. What I won't do is engage in an expensive gimmick, the Rwanda scheme. If he believed it was going to work, he wouldn't have called an election before it can be tested. He wouldn't have done it.
So, Keir Starmer said, smash the gangs. We put new laws in Parliament that have now led to almost 1,000 criminals and people smugglers being arrested, serving hundreds of years in jail. Because we do need to smash the gangs. Keir Starmer voted against those laws. So, as ever, you say one thing here, but your track record says something completely different, and you can't be trusted to tackle immigration.
So why...
I got to say, the audience was, I think, applauded for Sunak 4 or 5 times, and Keir really only had 2, I think, and those moments of clapping were rather tepid as well. He really he got caught flat-footed, man. I hope he learned, you know, and look, we'll know for sure if he's a neoliberal if he learns nothing from this and changes nothing in the next debate, right? I assume there's 2. Are we going to have another one, or is this the only one? But I'm having a great day, Gaius.
Why are the numbers this year 10,000 record numbers? Why is that?
Because this is a challenge. This is a growing challenge, but I've got a plan to deal with it because I'm going to put people on planes. What are you going to do with them? I can tell everyone what I'm going to do. You might not like it, but I've got a plan because we've got to have a deterrent. What are you going to do? Just tell everybody. What are you going to do with illegal migrants who arrive?
Please, can we please, gentlemen, we will lower our voices. Keir Starmer, please respond directly to Rishi Sunak.
There's a pattern of behaviour here. He said he would get waiting lists down. They've gone up. He said he would stop the boats.
So the reason why Rishi Sunak is smiling is that he keeps doing this. Respond directly to my accusation that you don't have a plan, right? Because it's a lie that the Labour Party doesn't have a plan. They got a whole manifesto. They got a lot of things. They got a lot of things on the table. They got but that's the Tory talking point, right? Is that they don't actually have a plan. They just say bad things are bad, and that's the spin. And Keir Starmer, quite frankly, walks into that narrative. By sticking to, like Leon said, sticking to his staying on topic and sticking to his canned robotic responses as if he's talking to Channel 4. Treating this debate like he treats other media, entanglements where he just gets to, respond, like I said before, respond to whatever question he has in his head. It doesn't really matter what the journalist or host is saying to them. And Sunak's kind of playing him like a fiddle right now, dude. It's pretty fucking predictable.
Voices. Keir Starmer, please respond directly to Rishi Sunak.
There's a pattern of behaviour here. He said he would get waiting lists down. They've gone up. He said he would stop the boats. We've got record numbers coming. The promises he makes are not worth the paper they're written on. His plan is failing. We do have to deal with this problem, Stephen. We absolutely have to deal with it. We have to smash the gangs that are doing. I will never accept that the only criminal gangs that can't be taken down are these vile gangs. I've taken down terrorist gangs in my past. I've seen how it's done. I know it can be done. We'll have a border security command if I'm Prime Minister, and we will get that done and stop this vile trade and those boats coming over with very vulnerable people.
Thank you very much.
Like many young people, I completed my final years of sixth form under COVID restrictions, started university under them, and I've had to deal with a cost of living crisis, a housing crisis, and an unstable world. What future can you offer my generation, and when will we become your priority?
Thank you very much indeed. Keir Starmer.
Yeah, good question.
Well, Miles, what I think is really important is that you have the further education opportunities that you need, whether that's university or technical skills. I think either are perfectly, they're equivalent, they're really important. My dad was a toolmaker, so he went down the skills route. I was the first, as it happens in my family, to go to university. So we would ensure that those jobs are there for you, for the future, that you have the opportunity to get on. We'll build the houses so you don't have to be, 30-something, 35, 36 before you own a house under this government. But what I won't be doing is sending you on national service, some sort of teenage dad's army, which would be what the Prime Minister would say. Forget going on to university. He wants to send you off to do national service.
Thank you very much, Keir Starmer. Rishi Sunak.
You know, we have an enormous amount to be proud of as a country, but we do need to do more to make sure our young people, like you, Miles, get the opportunities that they deserve. So that's why we...
Yeah, you know, Russia has a beautiful culture, and, you know, there's amazing art that comes out of Russia, which makes it all the more shameful that they would use their culture as a weapon when they're assimilating other countries, literally forcing Russian citizenship on people, literally forcing them to learn Russian, taking over their region, like in Georgia and in Crimea, and forcing those people, those children in their schools to, you know, learn Russian and Russian only, changing names, you know, over to Russian, et cetera, et cetera. That's what makes the Russian invasion of Ukraine such a terrible, terrible thing, is that there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of really cool video games that have come out of Russia, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of amazing things about Russian society, and to see Putin so callously and disgustingly use that beautiful culture, use beautiful people for his own dictatorial and authoritarian aims, it really does add that extra level of irony here. You know, Russia is a very beautiful place, and it's being sullied and destroyed by an authoritarian that the Russian people seem to not really have that big of a problem with. So yeah, it is quite a shame, John, that your country is brutally invading Ukraine. Quite a shame.
We will introduce...
Going on to university, he wants to send you off to do national service.
Thank you very much, Keir Starmer. Rishi Sunak.
You know, we have an enormous amount to be proud of as a country, but we do need to do more to make sure our young people, like you, Miles, get the opportunities that they deserve.
Welcome back, Clutch.
So that's why we will introduce a modern form of national service, and I think it's going to be transformational for young people in our country, giving them the skills and opportunities they need to succeed in life, fostering a culture of service in our society, bringing it together, but also strengthening our resilience and security for the future. And I think it is going to be something that's incredibly positive. But beyond that, I want you to have financial security.
No, it won't be. So there you go. Those were the highlights. And honestly, it's not the highlights. ITV, I'm going to say it. ITV's fucking biased for the Tories. I'm going to fucking say it right here, because that highlight reel shows it all. Not once did they show Keir Starmer after the debate, after the break, I mean. They didn't show Keir Starmer responding. One time he said that the 2000 tax claim was garbage. He said it was garbage, but that was after the break. So they only show the highlights from the first 45 fucking minutes, where Rishi Sunak walked all over Keir, interrupted him, and the moderator, you know, played games with Keir, interrupting Keir way more than Sunak. Sunak had full control over that first part, and the highlight reel from ITV makes you think that's the only thing you see. And once again, the normies, right? Normies aren't sitting through that whole fucking thing. I'll catch the highlight reel while I'm doing some work, right? I'm typing up a paper at work and listening to this 12-minute highlight reel of the debate, so I can, you know, talk about this at the debate at the break table, right, at the water cooler. I know what the hell's going on. ITV is biased. ITV is biased. So Leon was nice enough to give us a link here with some polls about, I guess, you know, what did the public think of the debate. Let's have a look. That shit was biased, dude. All right, so here we are. Welsh Westminster voting intention. Labour up 3%. Yeah. So, you know, it's not as cut and dry as what I'm making it out to be. People, you know, the people that are being polled are very likely, they already know where they stand. A debate, unless it's a total disaster, a debate isn't going to swing them too heavily one way or the other. Yeah, wow. So the Farage stuff, huh? That's the, you know, the conservatives. They don't stop. The guy who sold us Brexit and is just a maniac and a bunch of another, you know, a liar, gaslighter, con man, a confidence man, you know, carnival barker type. And of course, social media, it's all about him. It's all about him. They want him back. Okay. All right, so let's get some... well, we got a link here from Clutch Cargo as well. Thank you again, Clutch, for coming back. Let's go ahead and take a look. Reality check, the truth behind the Tories' 2,000-pound tax claim. So I knew in my gut that this was a lie, but I was like waiting and waiting and waiting for Keir to respond. I'm like, surely this is a lie. This can't be true. Keir Starmer's not going to raise taxes 2,000 pounds on... you know, lower income people. That's insane. No way that's right. But the silence. Rishi Sunak kept putting that shit on the table, kept putting those accusations on the table. And Keir Starmer over here responding to, you know, just non sequitur almost in some cases. Bringing up Liz Truss. And it's like, yeah, no, Liz Truss did fuck up the economy. Okay, yes, yeah, all those things. But he just, you know, like you get served the volleyball and then you're swinging a baseball bat. Like you're not even playing the same sport here. And it's like, I understand you don't want to give your opponent, you don't want to play the game that your opponent is playing, but homie, there's certain things you have to respond to or else your opponent wins. And that's what we saw. Thankfully, though, UK voters a little bit more savvy than that. So let's get to it here. Tax dominated the first head-to-head debate between Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer, with the Prime Minister making an eye-catching claim about what Labour's plans would involve. I just realized as well during that ITV highlight reel, they didn't show even once the moderator saying, we're going to talk about taxes later. We're going to talk about taxes later. Finally getting to taxes, and I think literally spending 2 minutes on that subject before moving. ITV is biased for the Tories. Tax dominated the first head-to-head debate between Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer, with the Prime Minister making an eye-catching claim about what Labour's plans would involve. Sunak claimed independent Treasury officials. So this is the scuttlebutt. Independent Treasury officials. Would you believe they're not independent? Yeah. Sunak claimed independent Treasury officials had costed Labour's policies, quote, and they amount to a 2,000-pound tax raise for everyone. He said it over 10 times. Starmer dismissed the claim as quote-unquote absolute garbage after 45 minutes. Today, Labour's front bench have gone further, accusing Sunak of telling a big, desperate lie. So who's telling the truth? So what's the claim? We already know the claim. How's the figure been arrived at? The Conservatives say Labour has been making spending commitments totaling a lot, yada, 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 yada. Yeah, so it's what the Conservatives are saying. It's their biased assessment of Labour's plan. What does Labour say? The 2,000-pound claim is not new, and Labour put out a detailed response when it first surfaced last month. So you're kidding me. So you're fucking kidding me. Sunak so they have the response. They have a canned response for this fucking talking point, and Sunak sat there for 45 fucking minutes? Holy shit, dude. Holy shit. Was this his first debate? That motherfucker is so used to being in front of journalists that don't push back, that don't really hold him to account. Wow. So they had the talking point ready to go. They've been responding to this falsehood. So he wasn't caught off guard. You're kidding me. I mean, Starmer is lucky. The Conservatives are so fucking terrible. And it's the same story with the goddamn neoliberals everywhere. You know, their opponents are so fucking terrible. You know, even after Brexit, they're talking about cutting taxes and you know, it's like reversing nothing and changing nothing. Things are only going to get worse. You know, that's their policy. Of course, their rhetoric is the exact opposite. And the fucking neoliberals are just like, well, you see, we're not that bad. We're not that bad. We're pretty bad, but we're not that bad. And that's the fucking Faustian bargain that they want to put upon all democracies, it seems. Faustian. Labour said that the costings in the Conservative Party's document were riddled with 11, quote-unquote, glaring mistakes. These include using assumptions made by special advisors, read Conservative partisan, political appointees who work for ministers, rather than relying on costings made by independent Treasury civil servants, actual non-biased people who are just looking at the numbers. Starmer's problem in the TV debate was that he was slow to rebut Sunak's claim, only doing so after the Prime Minister had repeated the claim 12 fucking times. Well, like I said, 45 minutes, almost an hour into it, he finally starts talking. So anyway, there you go. There's the details. Thank you, Clutch Cargo, for this. If you want all the details, it's right here in Clutch Cargo's link. If you want to read the rest of it, but it's a lie. You know, classic conservative spinning politicking, right? Oh, well, the experts say that, you know, your plan's total shit. Oh, you mean the experts that you're quoting that you hired that are paid for by your donors to spit out biased results? Yep, those experts. Yep, those experts. You know, that's why we still got to deal with characters like Alan Dershowitz and the fucking, you know, Heritage Foundation and all these other think tanks. You know, and so-called experts, because they know they're hacks, they know they're lying, they know they're part of a game. So let's get to this response from the Tory minister, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking. We're not going to watch this whole thing, but we're just going to get to the point where he takes advantage of the, well, it's only 6 minutes long. Let's watch the whole thing. I'm going to shut up. You'll see what I mean. Tory response here. He actually runs, kind of like uses an excuse. It sounds like, you know, maybe his political aide was like pretending like he was being pulled away or something. But he cowardly runs away from the interview once the host is pointing out that his numbers are bollocks. I could say that, right? Is that cool? Can I say bollocks, please, Leon? I don't know if Leon's even still here, but can I say bollocks, please? Much fun.
By my... So let's bring into the conversation Johnny Mercer, Conservative Veterans Minister, a member, of course, of Rishi Sunak's top team. Johnny, good to have you on the programme tonight. Thank you very much indeed for coming on. Judging by my inbox, your boss didn't impress.
Okay, well, that's the view. I'm here and I watched it and I don't agree with that at all. I think you've got a really clear choice there, haven't you? You've got a Prime Minister who's clearly dealing with massive challenges around migration, cost of living, the war in Ukraine, COVID, £400 billion a year. Sorry, £400 billion was paid out on COVID, versus a guy who literally just comes up with platitudes about everything, right? There is nothing there. All he says is, I'm sorry, you know, and he comes up with waffle about how terrible the situation is. He has no plan, right? And this is not a game. You have to have a plan in this. You have to have a bit of leadership.
But Johnny, what if
the guy changes his mind on everything?
What if your plan's not very good? Because Rishi Sunak's got a plan. Rishi Sunak
then give us a better plan. Give us a better plan.
Rishi Sunak said he'd get debt down. It's gone up. He said he'd get waiting lists down. They've gone up. He said he'd stop the boats. We've had record numbers in the first 3 months of this year. He might have a plan. It's not a very good one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're being fair there. If you look at the stuff around, well, I'll tell you why. Because if you look at illegal migration, right, around countries around Europe, it's going through the roof again this year, isn't it? It's actually down by a third in this country because of the measures he's put in. I mean, it's a growing challenge. It's really, really difficult to control. But actually, he has a...
And remember, down by a third after the historic highs of 14 years of Tory government. Isn't that cute?
Plan. He's putting it in place and it is beginning to reduce. So I think, you know, with a slightly fairer hearing, people would be able to see that is what's going on.
I'm judging the Prime Minister on what he told the British people he wanted to be judged on. Hold on. He made 5 promises. He's broken 3 of them. You must accept that.
Okay, but you have a clear choice between someone who is at least aspiring to do this, right? Believes in something and is trying.
I mean, listen, that's what the Tories have. That's the best they have, which is like, okay, yeah, you got me. He's a total liar. that breaks all of his promises. But he's got a plan now. We're moving forward. We got our shit together now. It's okay now. That's the best that they fucking have.
Is at least aspiring to do this, right?
One more time.
Hold on. He made 5 promises. He's broken 3 of them. You must accept that.
Okay, but you have a clear choice between someone who is at least aspiring to do this, right? Believes in something and is trying and is seeing a reduction in what's going on, versus someone who basically says,
I'm sorry, waiting lists and debt have both gone up since he promised to bring them down. He's failed on his own promises.
So waiting lists, stand fast, industrial action started to come down, didn't they? And then you had all this industrial action that put that out of sync. So that's
really cute. Industrial action is a really fun way to describe poor people demanding fair wages from their billionaire bosses. Industrial action. It sounds scary. It sounds all technical, and no, it's just 9-to-5ers who want to have a some kind of safety and security and maybe a little money in the bank. That's all. Industrial action. Ooh, so scary. Ooh, watch out. Ooh, it's gonna get you. Do industrial action. Ooh.
The plan was working. Migration, I've just talked to you about as well, and that reduced by 1/3. So it's not, what you're saying isn't very fair. Except what you're saying is that, he promised one thing and we haven't got 100% of everything what we wanted. But what you do have is a clear plan, a direction of travel that is
Johnny,
working.
what you're saying
versus someone who has no idea and absolutely
what you're saying. Let's be honest. What you're saying really is he's broken 3 of his 5 promises, but it's not his fault.
No, what I'm saying to you is that government is extremely difficult. He set out a pathway and an ambition there to get it done. He's done everything he can. And to be perfectly frank with you, when it comes to things like migration, Labour voted 139 times to block any reductions in migration anyway. So, look, you've got a choice at the election. You can either choose...
That's probably the only reason why they blocked that legislation, right? It's because they want this problem to get worse and worse and worse. I'm sure it had nothing to do with a bunch of poison pills and a bunch of bullshit and nonsense, bunch of draconian shit that, of course, the liberals could never ever, or the Labour Party could never ever agree to. I'm sure that's not the reason why they voted against it consistently.
Someone who's really determined and fighting against everything that Labour and others can throw at him to try and bring forward policies that reduce migration and reduce tax, or you can go for someone who basically tonight didn't deny 10 times that he is going to increase your taxes and you're going to have to pay. So if you think there's going to be a Labour government, you need to start saving now.
And in the spin machine, the lies, isn't it? They lie through omission, and he's lying through omission in this case, right? Because he's look at that, he didn't respond after 10 times, but technically it was 12, but he did respond the 13th time and called it total fucking garbage. But we're just going to ignore that. People, if you support your side doing this, and I criticize the left when I see this shit as well on the left, you are supporting the degradation of our politics. You are supporting the degradation of society when you support people who they're making semantic arguments or like I said, lying by omission in this way. If you are a partisan and you think it's okay for your side to do this, you are participating in the degradation of fucking society. You are literally saying, I want society to collapse. That's how serious this is, because it's death by 1,000 cuts, democracy. These little every little lie and omission is one step closer to tyranny. And I'm not being hyperbolic here. What do the Tories represent? Freedom? Economic freedom, political freedom, you name it. They don't represent that shit. So if you acquiesce to these techniques, these rhetorical techniques from your side, left or right, you're okay with the whole thing collapsing.
Tonight didn't deny 10 times that he is going to increase your taxes and you're going to have to pay. So if you think there's going to be a Labour government,
let's get into that, because
I certainly will.
That was right at the heart of this debate. This idea that Labour's going to put up taxes by £2,000. What's the source of that? Where's that come from?
Well, that's been the independent analysis that's been done on their spending plans, you see that across the block. I mean, you're in luck, right? Because when Starmer says something, you can bet bet your bottom dollar that he's going to go back on it. So actually, maybe they won't. But on his current plans that have been assessed by the Treasury, his £2,000 of tax we will be paying in each of our families going forward. And he failed to deny that 10 times. If someone fails to deny something 10 times, it usually means they're going to do it.
I don't know why he didn't deny it, Johnny, but I've looked at the document you're talking about. The thing that both you and the Prime Minister have said is independent analysis. It's published by the Treasury, and what it says that the figures it's based on are heavily influenced and driven by Conservative special advisors. It's not independent at all. It's party political propaganda
I disagree.
that the Prime Minister and you are claiming is independent.
Okay. I mean, you can argue about people's biases and so on. The facts are the facts. The Prime Minister...
The facts are the fact. No, they're not. You're blatantly lying, blatantly manufacturing consent here in a way. No. Deny. So if you support that because it's your side doing that, you're part of the problem.
Is not going to come out with things that are biased in that way. He is straight. If you want to see bias, right, go and look at the Labour dossier, which basically calculates policies that haven't been announced. So I think, let's bear things in reality.
Johnny, it's not bias.
He was given the chance. The bottom line is he was given a chance.
It's not bias, but this matters. This matters.
Are you going to increase taxes 10 times?
This matters because
it matters.
He's desperately trying to get back to that 10 times. Got to hammer that, right? Because that's what the reality should. That's what he wants the reality to
be.
Hold
on. It matters because the Prime Minister claimed this was independent analysis. I've checked the analysis. The Treasury say this: the nature of this costing is uncertain and is driven by assumptions provided by special advisors. Special advisors are Conservative Party employees. It's not independent analysis, and it was false for Rishi Sunak to claim it was, isn't it?
It's our turn, isn't it? We're live on BBC News.
Yeah, it's our turn. I've got to go, but listen, I don't think we can question Prime Minister's integrity like that. Thanks very much.
Johnny, that's convenient, isn't it? As soon as you start to question the actual claim that this was independent analysis, and I've checked it, and the Treasury say this nature of this costing is uncertain, and it is I repeat, it's driven by assumptions provided by special advisors.
Gotta go.
Independent analysis? You make your own minds up. Johnny Mercer there.
It was not independent analysis. This guy's being incredibly professional here. Not fucking independent. Not even close. They get a bunch of conservative partisan hacks, okay, to give them the results that they want. Republicans and quite frankly the left as well, in certain cases, like when it comes to unemployment numbers, the left is happy to use selectively select numbers that they pay attention to and they treat as definitive. Certain kind, that's independent. Oh, well, that's just my definition of independent. Maybe your definition of independent is different, but my definition of independent is a partisan embarrassment. Didn't you? Maybe we just have different definitions. You see what I mean? You playing games? You playing semantic games now with our fucking democracy? Is that what's going on? Yeah. I'm completely shameless, but I'm fucking rich. What are you gonna do about it? All right. So last little bit on the UK debate here. Another one here from Ben Kentish, absolute, legend over there at LBC. Love him over there, just like James O'Brien. Does a great job, but he takes some calls from some people. Something that I wish I could do a little bit more. Maybe now that I'm getting a little bit more viewers, that we could try the phone call in thing again. But I wanted to get some responses from regular UK folks just to see how they felt, and it's classic, really good stuff. Listen to this. You're gonna love this.
There was nothing new. It was so formulaic. I mean, I've been voting since the 80s, and it seems that when it comes to election time, they just follow this script. And I'm going to make a prediction now. I know LBC has lots of people that make predictions, but I think at the next election, what you're going to see is the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of the British public, the electorate, who are so disenfranchised and politically homeless that you're going to see a massive rise in parties like the Green Party, I think Farage's party.
Because I think they're going to get a little bump. It's normies suck, man. Normies suck. Okay? Think those birds with their fucking head in the sand, like that's that. Look, make all the comparisons you want, but normies suck. It's really hard to You know, it's like steering a big cruise ship. You know, you gotta go really, really wide with it, and you gotta go really, you know what I mean? You gotta get really. It's really hard to move that ship, that normie ship.
Because people are just not impressed like you are, James, like Stuart wasn't with the two main parties right now.
I felt the whole thing was poorly moderated. Because if you...
Right now.
I agree with this woman.
The whole thing was poorly moderated. Because if you listen back to it, we were very carefully listening, my husband and I.
Mm-hmm.
Keir Starmer tried umpteen times to dispel the thing about that £2,000.
No.
And she wouldn't let him speak. She kept saying, oh, well, we'll deal with tax later. We'll deal with tax later.
Yeah, so she did that several times. The ITV highlights that I showed you did not show that. So she did do that several times. But he wasn't exactly addressing specifically the £2,000. He was doing some kind of, you know, like, you know, big, you know, lead up to that. Like, you know, like I said, like he's doing a Channel 4 interview and he's got all the time in the world. It wasn't until after the break that he, you know, say loudly, that is garbage.
And then when he did try to do it, he said exactly what you said, was that it was actually produced by the civil servants, not by independents.
It's produced by independent civil servants based heavily on assumptions that they were given by Conservative Party staff.
But it's not the truth. It's not actual fact.
It's not.
And I want facts. I don't want like assumptions. But I felt it was poorly moderated. I felt the whole thing was poorly moderated. I felt that Rishi Sunak just went on and on and on. And every time, and she let him do that. And then as soon as Keir Starmer started to just sometimes even say 3 words, it was like, right, we'll move on from that now. And I thought, you know, it felt very heavily one-sided to me.
I agree.
So I wasn't impressed.
Weren't impressed. Were you impressed with Starmer, Gwen? You weren't impressed with Rishi Sunak?
I felt my own feelings were that he's a very respectful man. That's how I felt. And that when she said shut up, he did. And when Rishi Sunak was told to shut up, he didn't. And I felt that there was more respect from him to her than Rishi Sunak gave, and I felt he was more respectful. So I think it was more respect than anything. That's how I felt.
You actually thought by perhaps not fighting.
Do we honestly feel like your average, you know, Gen Xer, millennial, you know, 30, 40 something that's, you know, kind of paying attention in and out between scrolling through their cell phone and whatever other distractions, you know, is that, you know, I mean, bless her heart. You know, she saw through the bullshit, but, you know, she's like you know, me and my husband, we watched it very, very carefully. We didn't, you know, they weren't on their phones. They weren't, you know, they were watching it very intently. Does your average normie engage in that way? Not really. And Rishi Sunak knows that. The Conservative Party and, quite frankly, the Labour Party, all political parties are aware of their own constituencies' ignorance and apathy, you know, and attention span. They're all aware of that, and they make policy and strategize around that. Rishi Sunak was well aware of it, and quite frankly, he took advantage of the situation, and Keir Starmer let him.
Fighting back as robustly as he might have done, Keir Starmer actually came across quite well.
Well, he did to me. He came across as somebody who really respected the person who was doing the moderating.
The worry for Labour, won't it, will be that the people would have heard Rishi Sunak make that claim. And it is nonsense, that £2,000 claim. Yeah. But for the first 40 minutes, Keir Starmer didn't rebut it. I take your point. Maybe he tried. I don't think he tried that hard, to be honest.
Oh, I think he did. So we would have to differ on that, because I felt he did, and he did keep trying to. And he did say to her at one point, "I really need to address this."
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, don't."
Yeah. So he did say that. He did, and the moderator, "Oh, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later." And it's, you know, but Keir Starmer should have been, no, you know, okay, well, I'm going to talk about it right now. No, we're talking about it right now because this motherfucker put this shit on the table. Now I'm going to respond to this right now. And 15 seconds. And apparently they had the rebuttal to it. You know, I don't get it, Keir. I don't get it, Keir. This was not an interview with a friendly journalist that, you know, this was a debate, dude. You had to show up. You had to show up, not stick to your talking points.
Don't worry, we'll come to tax later on. And she didn't. And then he actually then had to try and put it in himself. So, no, I didn't feel that it was right.
Amateur night at the local debating society.
Amateur night at the local debating society. So if you want to hear the rest of this, this is kind of a pretty conversational part of the interview. Pretty funny guy. So if you want to see that segment, it's right there. But I really just wanted to show, this older person's opinion on what, because she was observing a lot of the things that I was observing as well, with the ITV moderator and Rishi Sunak's ability to just walk all over Keir and Keir failing to respond. Of course, she's a little bit more biased, for the, I kind of respect her like, don't worry about it too much, because all of us political guys are like, oh my God, Keir, you fucking dropped the ball, and oh my God, you're losing the spin, you're unspin. She's like, don't worry, don't think about it too much, don't worry about it. It's like, I kind of like this chick. She's pretty chill, but at the same time, it could, I don't think after this debate, and the host here, Ben, gets into this a little bit, where it was like, this was Rishi Sunak, if anything less than a total slam dunk, Keir Starmer wins the debate, right? Because that's the current state of UK politics right now with the Labour Party and the Tory Party. So as long as Keir Starmer didn't literally have diarrhea, literally completely drop the ball and start Sieg Heiling or something, Rishi Sunak was going to lose this debate, because the national service thing is a total joke. He was literally laughed at. The whole attempt to say, oh, well, I know the last 14 years we completely dropped the ball, but now we're fixing it, just really isn't landing in the way that they want to, no matter how statesmanlike or how confident he displays that message, or he puts that message out. And I will say Rishi Sunak delivers that we're working on it, the plan is working, give us more time message. He delivers that very well. He's very, very good at his job. He's very slick. So anything less than a total slam dunk for Sunak would be a loss for Sunak. The debate problem was it didn't give any time for policy, only slogans and catchphrases. In addition, it required the Tories to respect it. Yeah, no, and that's the ITV, they had to know a crowd clapping. No. This is the same kind of shit you see in Western media when they turn our debates into circuses. Same kind of rules. Same kind of, moderator that seems seemingly somewhat partisan for one party or the other. I want to be slick too. Read Machiavelli. All right, but there we go. And thank you, big props to everybody, who's living in the UK, giving me your opinions. Thank you so much, Leon. We're going to move on to our final segment for today. We got 30 minutes left. Wanted to just talk about this piece of shit Cybertruck, dude. This cyber fucking you're getting cyber fucked by the Cybertruck over here. I want to talk about this. Also, here is debate. The Sun debate poll of 1,000 viewers. Starmer 53, Sunak 33%. Okay, so the UK public not so easily fooled. And this is the Sun, so it's actually kind of right leaning. And look at that. Look at the. Wow, look at the difference from 2019. Wow. Literally almost flipped. So it's interesting right here. So that 53% instead of 60%. So that does show that the Green Party, the Reform UK, voter apathy is definitely affecting this election. I can see why Starmer is more cautious about Brexit, but honestly, numbers like this, you should have a nutsack and talk about Brexit at this moment, Starmer. Look at this. Look at what you're going to lose. You're afraid of losing. If you tell people you start hammering on the Tories for Brexit. Really, you're going to lose voters. You got a little wiggle room. You could say the word Brexit, Starmer. Yeah, it's cyber scrap. It's cyber crap. So thank you very much for those poll numbers, Leon. Anyway, back to the cyber fucking truck. So this, look, if you've been paying attention to this, videos like this one won't surprise you. But look at this. Look at what these. Look, and I'm going to say this. Okay, I'm going to say this definitively. If you bought a Cybertruck, you're dumb. You're easily fooled. You're naive. You have too much money. Possibly medically defined as stupid. There's like a definition for the word stupid. All right, let's look it up. Look it up. Showing a great lack of intelligence or common sense. Stupid. If you bought a Cybertruck, you are stupid. And videos like this all over the internet. We had whistleblowers, by the way. We had people who were on the Cybertruck team who quit and said, I quit the Cybertruck team because of all the corners they're cutting and because of how the thing was being engineered. But, you know, look, man, you're an early adopter. You know, hey, you're not paying attention to everything. You think it's cool. You just, you know, you got some money. You're you know, in the market for a new truck. You're not really paying attention. You're not on social media, right? But then your truck does shit like this, and then you get on social media and make a bunch of excuses for it. You're stupid, okay? But if you quietly make a mistake like this and then, you know, get your car, refund your car, like this is a lemon, I don't want this. You don't make a big stink. You don't try to defend your purchase online. You don't try to back up Elon Musk and say, well, I'm a big fan of Tesla, but this is the worst vehicle I've ever seen in my life. If you're, you know, if you just quietly accept that you made a really stupid mistake and go get a refund, you're cool. You're cool to me. You totally get a break for making this boner mistake. If you try to double down on social media and be like, it's all good, I'm getting totally fucked over with this completely unsafe, dangerous boondoggle of a vehicle, then no, you're stupid. You're officially the definition. Listen, look at this.
You just gotta laugh. The future is here, guys. 4 miles an hour, critical steering issue, inching my way home. I can't imagine this is going to be fun for most.
Motherfuckers over here listening to Top 40 Walk Like an Egyptian. Look, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I don't mean to make fun of people for their musical taste, but dude, why even stream that? Just throw on the radio. Top 40 Walk Like an Egyptian. Why?
But I've seen a few of you have to post this, so
whatever. We got bigger fish to fry than people's bad musical tastes. The Bengals guy.
Sure is here. I'm gonna just laugh this off and try not to have a bad day.
Yeah, I'm just gonna laugh it off. Guy looks stoned, actually. The Bengals are really good. I don't mean to shit on the Bengals, but their other tracks are way better than Walk Like an Egyptian. Listen to a Bengals album. All right, 100K vehicle that require you to carry a spare tire in the bed. In the bed. This is their option for spare tire. Not under the bed, not hidden away in a little compartment, just sitting there taking up over half of your truck bed. The hell is this? Is this a screenshot from a YouTube video? Okay. Apparently Cybertruck is #1 subreddit right now for vehicles. It's that bad. It's that bad. This is funny. Killdozer Cybertruck. Yeah, so Woke Patriot over here pointing out that the sales are not good. Elon Musk, by the way, over here begging, you know, doing everything he can for his $50+ billion bonus package from Tesla. Tesla launches tent-like car cover for Cybertruck to protect it from electromagnetic pulse attacks. This idiot's gonna take your money so that you can surround your truck in tinfoil in the event of an EMP. Meanwhile, you can't drive these things for more than 10 miles without it failing internally. I have a bicycle cargo trailer that legit can haul more than a Cybertruck. This is embarrassing. If you're defending this, you're stupid. The definition. Welcome back, Cowabunga Tootsie Roll. It was a problem from the very beginning. That's what I'm saying. There were warning signs all over the place. Yeah, look, This motherfucker said it was, bulletproof and shit. He said this, he expected to throw the ball against the window and it bounce off. And he played it off. And this was supposed to be a thing. I was supposed to it's so impressive. By the way, you don't want your glass to do this in a car. You actually want your glass to shatter and fall and crumple. Famously, Mitch McConnell's wife's sister died in a Tesla because she could not, she was drunk, backed into, one of those rich fucking people ponds. They got all that massive property, right? So they got a pond somewhere on their fucking property, backs into it. And she's stuck in the vehicle. She didn't drown like in the first 5 minutes. She was stuck in the vehicle for over an hour. People trying to shatter the window, trying to break the window to get her out. She drowned. All that money, all that influence, all that power couldn't save her from a Tesla. That wasn't even a Cybertruck. That was a Tesla. But, it's supposed to be a benefit that this is a rigid body. It's supposed to be a benefit that these windows are made this way. No, it actually makes it into a horrific death trap for you. Horrific. You want to die in an extremely painful car crash? Go ahead and drive recklessly in a Cybertruck. No, there's no crumple zones. That's all that. That's, you're doing 50 miles an hour. That's you going 50 miles an hour into a fucking steering wheel. That's why you have a crumple zone, so that inertia is absorbed, so that the human beings inside the fucking vehicle don't get liquefied. So one of the big features of the Cybertruck is its drive-by-wire technology. Instead of having a piece of metal, moving these things around, they have a wire system, kind of similar maybe to a garage door, but this is actually the kind of systems you would see in an airplane. It apparently is supposed to allow for more precision, but look at the delay, right? Because it's not one-to-one. It's not following your wheel when you're moving. Look at the delay. Look at this. Watch this. Moves the tire is following. So you're trying to look, and it's like, oh, that's not a big deal. Come on, that's not that big of a delay. It's a big deal when you're doing 80 miles an hour on the fucking freeway. Okay? Or when you're trying to do something delicate, or you're trying to do something tricky with your vehicle. You get into these situations where you do need precision. You do need it to be one-to-one. And look at that. This is supposed to be advanced. This is supposed to be high-tech. This is supposed to be better. It's worse in every single way. By the way, the wiring, so this car is filled with a bunch of electronic gizmos, right? Fancy cars that have a bunch of electronic gizmos, they have wiring all over the place for different things, different gauges of wire, you need different wire for different things and all that, The Cybertruck uses one Ethernet cable going through the whole fucking thing, all the way around in like a daisy chain, so that if one component fails, the rest of the components also fail because it requires the daisy chain to be complete. So how about that for a massive, massive single point of failure for your vehicle that is filled with electronic gizmos and sensors and all kinds of stuff? One single failure can affect the ability for the rest of the components to speak to each other. No redundancy, no fail-safe. Only appeals to those who dream of an apocalypse. I mean, Leon, that's the thing. That's what they claim. But this would be, bar none, without a doubt, the worst vehicle to have in the apocalypse. Single points of failure, insane, crazy engineering required to keep this stupid fucking mechanism from falling apart. You would be better off with a Huffy bicycle from the 1980s with a rusty chain and tires that need to be inflated than a Cybertruck in the apocalypse. You would get more use out of a bike. Look back strategy. It keeps going, folks. It just keeps fucking going. I'm telling you, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while because it's unbelievable how bad these vehicles are. Like, this isn't just like, oh, it's a couple design flaws and they'll work it out. This thing is probably one of the worst vehicles ever designed and put on the road. Yeah, Ponder Monkey, exactly. A wireless PS2 controller with like a really bad lag. New Twitch app is shite. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, you'd be better off walking than a Cybertruck, honestly. So this, they've been showing a lot of kind of like regret porn, a lot of Schadenfreude. So people desperately trying to sell their Cybertruck because they realize that it's a massive boondoggle. And by the way, the resale value of these fucking things is plummeting. I'm talking, you drop 200K, you leave the dealership's parking lot, you leave Tesla's parking lot. Your vehicle is now reduced by $50,000 in terms of value. So this person over here, 2024 Tesla Cybertruck, 45K down, 2K monthly, takeover payments, no credit check or need. Please, for the love of God, please take this. Take over my lease. Welcome back, Rob. So this is classic. You're seeing this all over the place. All these cutesy little, like I said, stupid people with too much fucking money. They buy their Cybertruck, they get it all kitted out, they spend like an extra $100,000 getting it all kinds of fun accessories and stuff that you can get for them. And then the fucking thing breaks down. And you see it on the back of the truck. So this is actually, so this isn't broken. He's actually, or is it? It's towing company? I don't know. It's hard to tell if it's broken or if it's just being transported. This is funny. People keep showing the back of dumpsters and other like, other vehicles like this. They're like, look at my Cybertruck. Your vehicle's also lost its warranty if you leave the dealer. Yeah. If you, we haven't even gotten into that. If you get your Cybertruck washed at a car wash, it voids the warranty. It goes. They've shown that there's no gutters in the frunk, so that when it rains, water just dumps right into your frunk. Your front trunk, because my Honda Fit has gutters. So when it rains, the water is, funneled away from the places that you want to keep dry. And it does that successfully. The Cybertruck is incapable of keeping the things that you put in the frunk dry because there's no rain gutters. There's no water. It just goes right in, just dumps right in. Yeah, I got a Fit. Yeah, Cybertruck and Trump Bible for sale. Motivated seller. So this person over here just canceled my order after 3 years. Anyone else considering or already did the same? Yeah, okay, well, so this person finally took them long enough, but all right, credit where credit's due. Cancel your... Look at this thing. Look at this fucking thing. Look at this fucking thing, dude. Look at this fucking thing. What the fuck is this? Amazingly, Cybertrucks are not all that can be U-churned with only a pinky. But yeah, I guess we're seeing Cybertruck owners doing normal things that you can do normally in a vehicle and bragging about it. Any luxury vehicle, I could do this in my Honda Fit. I know with my power steering, yeah, no problem. This is not impressive in the least at all. At all. In your fucking Walmart parking lot. Is this real? This can't be real. What? Cyber Squire? Wood paneling on this? Come on. That can't be real. That is ugly. How do you take something so ugly and make it even fucking uglier? How? Wow, that's a talent. That's skill, dude. Throw some Crocs on that, Fucking draw some Crocs on that. Any takers? So just more people desperately trying to get rid of their vehicle, their Cybertruck. Offering professional photo shoot with Cybertruck in NYC, $250 an hour. Oh yeah, honey. They are refusing the FS to drop the price. Thanks, early adopters. By the way, it's actually like you have to sign a contract that says you're not allowed to sell it. Okay, so yeah, so I guess these morons are driving their finger, are using their pinky, and that's, you can literally do that in any vehicle. What are you talking? What are you bragging about? The only technical where you're not sure if the truck or the weapons platform will fail first. Okay, so some idiot is playing around with mounting. Well, this is probably an airsoft gun or something. Kansas is, of course. Kansas. More money than sense. I'm shocked that oh my god. Cyber slab. Yeah, so I've seen several pictures of this one right here. If you don't know what a slab is, it's a Houston, Texas kind of thing. It's, you know, the Cadillacs, those really boats, that they customize and low ride, do all kinds of stuff. Those are called slabs. Those big boat-like vehicles. So if you're confused about what the hell a slab is. But yeah, so these are, and I think, does he got the spare? Is that the spare in the fucking trunk? Oh. So embarrassing. So embarrassing. Oh wait, this says UK debate. Hold on. Cyberfuck. There we go. No, it's because, those old Cadillacs, they look like a big cement slab, basically. That's why they're called slabs, I think. Sporty McBeezy, pretty awful. That's where you're supposed to keep your spare, Sporty. That's where you're supposed to keep your spare. Right fucking there. Oh yeah, well then you were right, strategy. But like I said, I mean, there are dozens of photos, not just the same one, but just over and over and over again. People are just, oh wow, look at that. There's the Cybertruck, and it's on a towing rig, getting towed back to Tesla. Yeah, strategy. If the car could talk, I'm tired, boss. It's time for me to go, boss. Look how uninteresting this interior is. How ugly this is. I've talked about this before very briefly because I'm in IT. I am so sick and tired of minimalism. Everything having to be reduced to a single button, and it doesn't make life easier. It makes things more complicated, right? So instead of having a button for a function, you now you got scroll wheels. Look at this. It's two literally little middle mouse buttons. The fucking middle mouse button. The middle mouse button is what he's got sitting there. Yep. Slabs are cars that are dropped. I see. Okay, thank you. I love underground music. I love Houston, Texas, but wasn't born and raised there, so. But no, look how uninteresting this is. So instead of having a single button, for a function, a basic function, I don't know, AC. So now you got to scroll through menus, click on, click, 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 scroll through, click, click, click. All because of minimalism. All because of minimalism. Looks ugly. Looks uninteresting. And it looks tired. Is this you got a little dust on the dash? Ugh. I'm being a little overly critical there, though. I love my new Cybertruck. This is a toy. Damn, girl, you a Cybertruck? Because you look stupid as shit. So this is common. This is the common stories that we're seeing. 127 miles in, and on day 2 of owning the Cybertruck, when all of a sudden the car starts making terrible noises, was able to pull into a nearby hotel where the computer system was causing errors and was difficult to put back into park. So like I said, once one thing fails, the daisy chain fails. So your brakes fail, your steering fails. I mean, not even talking about internal components like, you know, ventilation and things like that. Slow, low, and banging. Oh, God. Whoops, wrong one. Riding slabs. Love that song. Is that UGK? Good shit. Underground Kings. All right, so I have a little bit. I got about 15 more minutes. I just wanted an opportunity to roll through this subreddit and just show you what the hell's going on here. Once again, that extreme lag. But this isn't even getting into some of the worst ones. Oh my God. Okay, look at this. Oh my God. The Cybertrucks, they don't just suck. They are, it's probably one of the worst vehicles ever put on the road. This is, you know, right up there with that, you know, that funny vehicle with like, it's like got 3 wheels. It's got the wheel in the middle and then 2 wheels in the back, and it's like easily tipped over. And, you know, there's like several examples of, you know, vehicles that are barely functioning. They're basically a meme, like you said there. No, it's bad, dude. So I don't think that's supposed to move around like that after 2 days. I don't know. We have no proof of the 2 days claim. But this 2 days, 20 years. Shit should not be rattling around the tires 20 years later, dude. What the fuck? What the fuck? Is this shit gonna fall off? Okay, I see you got bolts all around it. Okay, but what is this thing attached to? Is that the wire? Is that supposed to be loose? Yeah, if you're waiting for the waiter, aren't you the waiter? Man, those some bars right there. So this is hilarious. So someone decided to buy a Cybertruck and then turn it into an ice cream truck. I don't know. Okay. This guy's like, I gotta recoup. I just spent $150,000 on this fucking boondoggle. I gotta get my money back. I don't know. I mean, if you're an 8-year-old boy, this is the perfect, you know, this would get your attention. Grinding noise on Cybertruck after 127 miles. You hear that? $127 miles. Brand new. Brand new. I haven't talked about the influencer that, you know, he made a big stink. He's like, oh, Tesla's going to fix it. Tesla's going to fix it. Tesla's going to fix it. And he took it back, and I think it was like 5 or 6 times. And he's now suing Tesla, trying to initiate his state's lemon laws to try and force Tesla to give him a refund. It was made with Dogecoin money. It must have been made with Dogecoin engineers. 20 minutes after I started washing the truck, I realized I forgot to set car wash mode. Nobody tell the haters. They'll all flood in and tell me about how I bricked my truck. So yeah, it has a car wash mode where it, because it's so easy to short the Cybertruck out with a little bit of moisture in various areas, it has a car wash mode so that it turns off these certain components so that if water hits it, it doesn't short it out. Apparently, if you wash your vehicle while it's not in car wash mode, and if you use soap and water, by the way, you're not supposed to use soap and water. You're supposed to use like gasoline or, you know, other liquids that aren't corrosive. You totally void the warranty. You totally void your warranty. This idiot decided to, I don't know, it's kind of cool. Kind of a cool idea.
Technology?
So he like, because it's like, you know, aluminum panel, or is it stainless steel panels? You can do electrolysis to bond to cover these panels with liquid gold, which is pretty fucking cool. Okay, you couldn't do this with a normal body of a vehicle. You would have to replace all the panels with completely different panels. You wouldn't be able to do this electrolysis process to plate the whole thing with gold. But could you imagine you get this done and then 127 miles it breaks down? I love these idiots. I love these stupid people with way too much fucking money. This guy is clearly a millionaire. He's got multiple Cybertrucks and a big old thing, big old fancy garage, more money than sense. So we should let these guys run the world, right? Characters like him and Elon Musk and everybody. Really, really mediocre knuckleheads. They're the ones that are right, you know. Women should know their place and let the alpha males run the world, right? Like this guy. So he does all this work, but he's probably going to have to put it in the shop. He's probably going to have to take it to the shop after just a couple 100 miles. People were also pointing out that this changes the shape of the panels. And there's apparently lots of problems with spacing and gaps in these, you know, in these panels. And this process is going to make that even worse, you know, making these panels fit even worse. Also, it's going to make the vehicle more heavy. But yeah, generational wealth, who knows? Yeah, maybe this guy's daddy is rich and he doesn't own it or something. This is kind of a neat idea, but once again, it goes back to what I'm saying. Too much money, not enough sense, and society is rewarding these people. Society is rewarding these people with not just money, but power, leadership. Nice Cybertruck, bro. Nice Cybertruck. It's literally the same material. Wow, bunch of idiots with the stupid pinky videos. Even with so uninspired, so a lot of YouTubers are making videos like this. Even with rear wheel steering, the Cybertruck has a bigger turning radius than the Chevy Suburban. Wow. So if you don't know what this means, it's supposed to, so the rear tires churn. So you're supposed to be able to, like, you know, turn your car, like, you know, on a dime. But apparently it doesn't do anything, and you can actually get a better turning radius from a normal Chevy Suburban that's been designed correctly. Yeah. Yes. Oh, it just gets better and better. So, okay. So end wokeness over here, fascist, you know, fascist adjacent, fascist friendly Twitter account makes up a bunch of shit over here talking about, oh, immigrants, and, you know, the immigrants are taking us over, you know, great replacement theory, racism, right? That's what end wokeness is all about. Elon Musk over here with his single comment. Wow. I didn't know white people were getting were replaced. Oh my gosh. This reminds me of when I was raised in apartheid Africa. That's some desperate Cybertruck owner over here. Elon Musk, could you take a break from being racist? To please take a look at my ticket number for the Cybertruck, please. I gave you a ridiculous amount of money for this stupid boondoggle, and it completely failed 5 seconds after I left the dealership. Could you please take a break from being racist to maybe get my car fixed, please? Just pathetic. Just pathetic. What should we call a group of Cybertrucks? So I actually did see a Cybertruck in the wild. Hey, there you go. This is a good use of the Cybertruck. All right, I'll approve this one. A fuckle? That's it. Oh, look at that fuckle. You got 3 or 4 of them. I've seen riding lawnmowers of better styling than the Cybertruck. Totally. No, but I'll approve this. This is great. Elon Musk probably hates the shit out of this, so I totally approve of this. Good stuff. All right, so here's an example of... I'm not sure if this is a Cybertruck or not, but let me see if I can find a better example of this, of the panel gaps. The gaps in the... Okay, so here's a picture of, not the panel gaps, but something else. So there's this little piece of plastic that is like covers the wiring harness that's on the back here that has been apparently falling off all Cybertrucks. It's held on with plastic tabs. It just never ends. It never ends. It's held on with plastic tabs. The wind gets up in there, lifts them up and pops them out. They've been falling off all the Cybertrucks everywhere. We haven't even talked about the pedal, you know, getting stuck and sliding up and jamming. I think I did report on that separately weeks ago. How about the pedal? There's a cover on the pedal and it slides up, basically jamming the pedal down. So the way that Tesla has been fixing it is they slide it back and then they put a metal rivet, just clank, little staple it basically with, you know, to the thing. That's the official fix, is some metal rivet. All right, so here we go. Broken down Tesla Cybertruck at dealership in New Jersey. Let's see. I think it's manufactured in America. I'm not sure though. Okay, what? So is this just this isn't even the owner of the truck? Or no, it is the owner of the truck. They got the door open. Okay, they're not really commenting on it. But you get the point. It's at the dealership because it's broken. But here's another broken one. 4 miles an hour. He's stuck at 4 miles an hour. This is brand new. These are brand new vehicles. Okay. Couple, you know, it's not unheard of to have, you know, recalls for various things, or you make a mistake, or, you know, manufacturing mistake. And, you know, my Honda Fit had to go through a recall because the airbags that they used, you know, became dangerous after a little while. So they, you know, they said, hey, we'll pay for it. You know, we'll replace the airbags, bring it into the dealership. So it's you know, that's not uncommon. The litany of issues, the dozens and dozens of issues and failures and design flaws in this truck, you know, unprecedented compared to your normal regular car. Okay, so we're also seeing this. Okay, so what he's taking a picture of is, so the very top has this massive panel of glass, right? It's supposed to be so impressive, so impressive. They've been shattering because the frame is too fucking rigid. The frame, so you go over some bumps, you do some stuff like you would do in a truck, maybe even in the apocalypse, maybe, right? Drive it a little harder than normal. The frame is so fucking rigid, your top canopy is shattering. Look at that, big ass crack throughout the whole thing. Brand new. All right, so I think this is going to have to be a two-parter, because I'm simply not done talking about how shitty this fucking vehicle is. I'm simply not done talking about it. It is unbelievable. It really is unprecedented and unbelievable, and the amount of cope is shocking. Shocking amounts of copes. Look, I can drive it with a pinky. If you can drive it. And are you driving it back to the dealership for a repair? Yeah, you bet. 5th time with my pinky. Zombie apocalypse, some zombie breaks. Yeah, exactly. Shatters the glass easily. No, folks. All right, so there you go. That's the News Underground. That's all I got for today. I got to go back. Yeah, that glass could have been an Angela Chow's Tesla. I mean, yeah, it's, you know, so Lenny bringing up, welcome back, by the way, Lenny, our #1 financial contributor to the stream. But I mentioned that story earlier, how Mitch McConnell's wife's sister, Angela Chow, or Elena Chow, or Angela Chow, I think Elaine, I don't know, whatever. It's probably Angela, you're probably right. She died in her Tesla because Elon Musk thought it was so cool to make windows that don't shatter. Right? There's a reason why vehicles are designed in the way that they're designed. Okay? You're not disruptive, you're not smart, you're not a genius, you're not changing the paradigm by making vehicles more unsafe, Elon Musk. And it's ironic because he's making it more unsafe to make it more ugly, to make it look like a fucking low poly PS1 model, right? All right, so big props to literally everyone in the chat. Thank you for being here. I couldn't do this without you. Strategy member, Woke Patriot, Lenny, Chem Goblin, Borderline Feline, Ponder Monkey. Thank you for the new viewers coming in to watch me shit on the Cybertruck. I do appreciate that. Why is Kanye West? Yeah, why indeed. Rob MQ, thank you for stopping in. You know, Leon, thank you so much, Leon, for your opinions and your perspectives on the UK debate and the UK elections. Very, very valued. Thank you for your time on that. Festoon Choi, thank you coming back. Cowabunga, Tootsie Roll, big props to you. Kissing Gonzo and Clutch Cargo, big fucking props to you. John said some Russian propaganda and then left, so I guess fuck you, John. Gaius, thank you for coming back, Gaius. Big props to you. And Carl Toes as well. Thank you, Carl Toes. Coog and swootin' that motherfucker. We're going to be doing it again real soon. Hey, and make sure you check out the link tree, folks. Let me bring up, if you want, we got new clips coming out, new funny clips coming out on the social media, the YouTube. We got the TikTok. We got the fucking Instagram. Link is right here. If you want those curated news underground clips, you want me in your algorithm, you want to see more of this shit, it's right there. Don't forget, someone you trust is also one of us. I don't know, but that's what he says. But don't you fucking forget it. Peace in that motherfucking Middle East and glory to the Ukrainian democracy. Let's not forget the only thing that's ever worked when it comes to creating political change is political activism. And you can obtain political activism by following my simple 3-step program. Step 1, inform yourself. Step 2, put your name down. Sign up for and volunteer. Find an organization you trust and put your name down. And step 3, put in the fucking work, boys. Boys, girls, theys, and thems. Let's not forget it's Pride time. Pride Month. Gay rights is human rights. Where's my rainbow flag? Let me get that bitch out here. I want to see that rainbow flag. There it is. Gay rights is human rights. Gay rights is human rights. Let's not forget that shit. All right. Thank you, everybody. This has been the News Underground. You're great. See you again really soon. We can shit on the Cybertruck some more. Peace that motherfucking police. Abandoned nihilism. Harbinger. Readless motherfucker on Twitch. Ooh, 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 ooh. There you go, Leon. Be happy, be gay. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on.
Riding slabs.